Hello everyone, welcome to episode 28 of August Wisdom, 31 episodes in 31 days, and we have just a few left, so make sure to come back every day until the end of the month to check out the final few, and of course go back and check out the previous 27. So today we're going to talk about why AI will not end the world. Welcome to the Deep Psychology Podcast. I'm your host, Ross Edwards, author, coach, and podcaster. We cover deep insights into your psychology, helping you grow in psyche and spirit. Make sure to subscribe to Deep Psychology on Spotify or Apple to stay up to date. You can also visit the website deep-psychology.com, visited by tens of thousands of people every month for lots of free resources. If you want to go deeper with this work, you might like to do coaching with me, head to the website for more details. It's time for today's episode. So, I actually have a very optimistic view of AI. And I want to say before I go into details that I'm not an expert on AI. It's not my profession. I've never studied it in any great depth. However, I've done something that most AI people, I can assure you, have never done, and that is I've studied human history a lot. I've studied integral theory, I've studied developmental psychology, I've read lots and lots of books about human psychology and human development and cultural evolution and all the rest of it. So this gives me a unique perspective on things, and it's one that I do not see many people having. However, if you've listened to my previous episodes, including the one yesterday, you'll understand why I hold these points of view. Okay? So let me set out very briefly what my point of view is. What I'm going to say is that we are, at this moment in time, the AI is really starting to gain momentum in many industries in many ways, and it's coming into our everyday lives with things like ChatGPT. We are, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many experts, standing before a revolution, or actually we're experiencing a revolution that is bigger than the invention of electricity. So that's one thing. And another thing I'll say is that even though that's the case, it is still another technological innovation. It's another piece of technological innovation, one of many very significant pieces of technological innovation that humans have experienced since we came around about 200,000 years ago. And we're actually in a period of history of accelerating technological innovation. And so we've had in the last sort of 30 to 50 years, we've had the computer, we've had mobile phones, we've had the internet, and those three things right there are just remarkable what they've done for us, and how it's changed human society. So, yes, AI is a special innovation for many reasons, but it's also just another innovation, right? My basic point of view is that humans are remarkably adaptable. It is in our nature to innovate, to change things, and to adapt. So right now, what we're doing, in my opinion, and we're doing it very erroneously, is we're standing, looking at this AI thing and sort of imagining what it might do. I mean, I actually think we don't really know, to be quite honest, but we're imagining what it might do from the thousands of years that we've spent with not having any semblance of AI whatsoever. And we're trying to prejudge what it's going to look like and what it's going to mean for us. In my opinion, this is it's a faulty way of looking at it, because we're not, we look at it and think, well, it's going to take over the world, and it's going to, we're not going to be able to handle it, and it's going to get into the wrong hands, and etc., etc., etc. What we're doing is we're judging it from our own current point of view, a point of view which in which basically no generation has grown up with significant AI. So we actually don't know, standing here right now, the impact it's going to have and how we're going to adapt to it. But my thesis is, and this is backed up by the fact that humans have been innovating technologically for hundreds and thousands of years in very significant ways, and we are still here. In fact, there's more of us than ever, right? I'm not saying there's no negative impact by how many humans there are on the planet. There certainly are. But I'm saying we've not blown ourselves up. Even nuclear technology hasn't blown us up, and we all thought that was going to happen 50 years ago. The modern weaponry hasn't blown us up. Sure, it's certainly caused a lot of problems, but that isn't the weapons. That is how we use the weapons, right? My point of view is that we have a this isn't a point of view, this particular point. Humans have a negativity bias. This is a negativity bias. This is one of the most documented aspects of human psychology. We are basically unrealistically negative by nature, right? So when we're looking at AI, we're looking at something that's very revolutionary, and it creates a lot of uncertainty within us, and it sort of activates the fear centers within us. Uncertainty, in situations of uncertainty, when we feel there's a possible threat, we feel like we need to protect ourselves, and we're even more negative than we usually are. So we have to take that into account. Whenever we're thinking about this, we have to realize we are unrealistically negative. I want you to imagine people who lived sort of 200 years ago, early 19th century, when electricity was, I can't remember the exact years, but Tesla and Edison and other people were trying to basically make electricity widespread. Can you imagine what was going through people's minds? This electricity thing, they must have thought it was going to blow up the world, or that we were going to, the world was going to end in flames, or I don't know, look it up. Ask ChatGPT what people were thinking about 200 years ago before electricity became widespread. They were probably looking at it like we are now. And what's happened, electricity is not a threat to us. I mean, we have to control it, and there's a lot of safety measures involved, of course, but now we use electricity all the time, and we do so without even realizing it. It's become just a part of our lives, that it's become a necessity essentially, but it's not blown us up. Nothing like it. I just think we have to trust a bit more that there is actually something bigger going on. It's not just humans creating stuff and fighting out amongst themselves as to what's going to happen. My trust is in something much deeper than that. It's in the movement of history. It's in the fact that humans grow and develop, and technological development is just one aspect of that. It's in the fact that in all our moaning and in all our worrying is actually something very real, and that is a genuine sort of moral concern for what damage we might do, and that is a sign that we are good. It's not a sign that we're evil. If everyone was evil, whatever we think that means, no one would be asking these questions, and we're already asking these questions, and we're not really that far down the line with AI in the grand scheme of things. So I'm not asking you to believe me, do what you want, but I do not share the view that most people have. I don't share this kind of, it brings a lot of uncertainty, because, for example, I'm writing a book right now. What happens with books under AI? Will people even read books anymore? We ask these questions, but we also might have to question these things. Are these questions actually realistic? Are people just going to stop reading books because we have AI? Even if AI becomes extraordinarily advanced and changes our lives in unimaginable ways, is that actually a realistic question to answer? I do coaching. I ask, well, is AI going to replace coaching? Why would someone come to me when they can dialogue with ChatGPT and they can dialogue with, a sort of AI avatar who's got access to all human knowledge that exists within, the click of a button. That is a question that I need to ask myself, but also ask, well, is my question even valid? Does the question make sense? And I say this as someone who's actually been very affected by it. I used to be a translator for a few years, and I used to be copy editing for a few years, and those industries have been taken over by AI. And so I've lived it. I've lived what it means for this technology to become widespread and to take over jobs and everything. So I'm not just standing here on the sidelines proclaiming something. The way I kind of look at things as well is we can either be negative and victimy about it and complain about it, or we can try and overcome our usual tendency to do that and see the positive and work with it. What is the option? Do you sit at home and mump and moan about AI and how the world's going to end, or do you accept what's going to happen and the changes that are going to happen and work within that? To me, there's only one choice, right? So I just wanted to share a little bit my views on this topic. I do not think the world is going to end. I think we're actually in for some remarkable developments that by the time my children are older, by the time I'm in my 50s, 60s, 70s, the world is going to be radically different in ways that I can't imagine. And I trust that there will be many good things that will come. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining me today. I hope this is giving you a more positive stance on this topic. And yeah, make sure to come back every day for the rest of the month for August Wisdom. Thanks a lot and take care. Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, please leave a review and make sure to subscribe on Apple or Spotify. If you'd like to go deeper with this work, head to deep-psychology.com to do coaching with me. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon.